The town of Hollow Creek was a place of shadows even at midday. Nestled deep within a valley, sunlight struggled to penetrate the thick canopy of trees, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. A perpetual gloom hung in the air, thick with the scent of damp earth and unspoken secrets. The townsfolk, weathered and wary, moved with a practiced silence, their eyes darting to the sky with a shared dread. For in Hollow Creek, a terrifying tradition held sway. No one dared to look upon the full moon. The origin of this taboo was shrouded in whispers and half-remembered tales. Some spoke of an ancient curse, a malevolent entity that haunted the lunar light, its gaze capable of stealing sanity itself. Others muttered of a forgotten tragedy, a night of unspeakable horror that had forever stained the moonlit sky. Generations had passed, yet the fear remained, woven into the fabric of their lives, an unspoken agreement to keep their eyes downcast when the moon climbed high. As the sun began its final descent, casting long, eerie shadows across Hollow Creek, a palpable tension settled over the town. Children were ushered indoors, their playful laughter silenced, replaced by the creak of shutters being bolted tight. Women drew heavy curtains, shrouding their homes in an artificial twilight, while men gathered in hushed circles, their faces etched with a mixture of fear and grim acceptance. Tonight, the moon would be full. Its ethereal glow, normally a source of wonder and beauty, was a harbinger of terror in Hollow Creek, a silent threat that hung heavy in the air. The townsfolk moved like sleepwalkers, their faces pale and drawn, their steps hurried yet hesitant. The silence was broken only by the mournful howl of a distant dog, a sound that sent shivers down their spines. Into this unsettling tableau arrived a stranger, a lone traveller, with a knapsack slung over his shoulder and a look of curiosity in his eyes. He had heard the whispers on the wind, the tales of Hollow Creek and its strange aversion to the moon. But he was a man of science, a logician, and he scoffed at such superstitious nonsense. He had travelled far and wide, witnessed countless celestial events and found beauty in them all. Surely the moon over Hollow Creek held no special power, no sinister intent. As the moon rose, casting its silvery light over the hushed town, the traveller found himself drawn to its allure. He stood at the edge of the forest, a lone silhouette against the moonlit sky, and gazed up at the celestial orb, its craters and shadows a source of endless fascination. A sense of peace washed over him, a calmness that belied the fear that gripped the town. He smiled, shaking his head at the absurdity of it all, unaware of the shadows that lengthened and deepened around him, drawn to his defiance like moths to a flame. Dawn broke over Hollow Creek, painting the sky with hues of rose and gold, but the usual sense of relief that accompanied the sunrise was noticeably absent. A stifling silence hung in the air, heavier than the morning dew that clung to the trees. The townsfolk emerged from their homes, their faces drawn and pale, their eyes scanning the streets with a mixture of dread and morbid curiosity. The stranger, the traveller who had so boldly defied their tradition, was nowhere to be found. Their search led them to the edge of the forest, to the very spot where the traveller had stood the night before, bathed in the forbidden light of the full moon. There, amidst the trampled undergrowth and scattered leaves, they found his knapsack. Its contents spilled out like a macabre offering. A sense of unease settled over them, a chilling premonition that tightened its grip on their hearts. Something was terribly wrong.